my question would be, uh, I think it would be, you know,
I mean,
of the best
it's
for everyone to uh, communicate this message to the DAO as soon as possible. And like when you talk very clearly. I feel like you can explain things very well. Um,
I try.
and yeah, I feel like at the least, you know, at the least, um, if we can have like a heated conversation where that's one thing I didn't like about the Twitter space, because I thought they would bring up, you know, it would get as heated as possible so that every FUD would be, you know, dealt with so that we come out stronger together. But I feel like really they just kind of, how can I say this? Like avoided a lot of the hard questions because I don't know why. Maybe they didn't think they were important. And yeah, so I have another question for you.
Sure.
Why? Why do you think they've chosen this path, and why do you think they're doing, or I guess not doing enough uh, right now? Like, why?
So
Do they know that?
from the initial distribution, right, from the sale, I assumed that they needed the liquidity for something, right? Now they could still be putting that back, but from what I initial thought was from the sale, they raised so much money. They knew they were going to raise so much money, right? Like you don't get on the sushi platform with such a high profile group of people and a high profile NFT and not expect to raise a lot of money. So I thought that they were going to use that money for some kind of like very big, like something they needed a lot of liquidity for that they didn't want to go to like a VC for. Now, what that is, I could speculate for days on, but essentially, I thought that hey, they need the money for something that they're building out, and I expected them to already have a thing or two to go out the gate for when the actual sale is done. Whether that just be community communication or a simple like DApp or something, just something to keep people busy essentially, so that they're not spending all their time in the Discord chat fudding them, essentially asking when X, when Y,
Mhm.
um, just something along those lines. And so far, nothing's materialized. Now, I didn't expect anything like serious to materialize yet. I mean, it's been what, like a week? Like you can't build out major things in a week, even if you just got an influx of a lot of capital. You still got to build a team. You got to continue building out whatever you're building out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't expect anything super major for a little bit of time. But in just the short time since the launch, just they failed on a myriad of ways, right? No communication, no like, actually interacting with the community. They have not, at least from my perspective, reached out to anyone to continue to enlarge in their team. So like with all that money, you'd expect, something like people are being hired to work on things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So far from the outset, like the people that are looking in, none of that has happened. Um, Simple stuff like, and this goes back to communication, but for example, the Twitter Spaces that happened today, right? Why was no one taking notes? And then they just put out like a quick little announcement of like, here's a recap of what happened on the Twitter Spaces, right? Something as simple as that. Why didn't that happen? It just no one thought of it. Like, is there no like community manager in Pleaser DAO? I mean,
Why do you
I
think it happened or it didn't happen?
I I honestly can't say. Like, I don't want to put like I don't want to put negativity on them since I don't know the circumstances, right? And like just blatantly saying something like, "Oh, I just think they just didn't think of it, or they're lazy, or whatever the hell," right? That just doesn't provide an active discussion. So whether it was intentional or not, it happened, and I'm not sure why it happened. But I would definitely be stressing them like, "Hey, look at your processes and fix them so this doesn't happen again." Um, just putting reasons why it happened or whatever aren't very productive, especially since I don't have like a look into it.
Yeah.
I want to make a quick comment. Like, I can't recall exactly where I heard this statement made, but I did hear a comment made by one of the Pleaser Dow people on either an interview or in a previous Twitter Spaces. I can't recall exactly. But there was a mention that some of the funds would be used to pay debt that Pleaser Dow has. So I don't know. I can't verify that, but I do recall that statement being made. So if you get into a conversation with any of the principals, you might ask them directly if that because there was also the statement made in the spaces today that they weren't going to touch any of the money that they have in their possession, that it's just sitting there. But that's in conflict with the previous statement regarding Pleaser Dow debt. So I would
Yeah,
say if you're going
I've
to
never
talk to
heard
any of the
of that.
principals, maybe ask them directly about that.
That would definitely be one of my questions. One, why is there debt in the first place? What exactly were you guys doing? Like, did you file the NFTs on debt? That would raise some serious questions. But yeah, that would definitely be a question. I'm not sure why they would ever say that
stated in
publicly, though.
passing, and it was quickly sort of moved on from. And I
Yeah,
remember
that
when I
makes
heard
sense.
it, I was like, "That's weird," but I don't recall exactly where I heard it. But it was said by the lady that was on the Spaces call today. I don't know her name, but she made that statement in another call. It might have been a previous Twitter Spaces, but it kind of got like not commented on, and then the subject was changed. And I do remember just thinking, well, that's strange.
I definitely want to move on quickly from that topic. That's not something you discuss in public.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd ask, but I mean, if I don't know the source, I don't think I could really just be like, hey,
Well, you
why,
could
why?
call it a rumor if you want,
Oh yeah, call it a rumor. That's
just say
the
like
best way.
there is has been a mention. Can you put it to rest? And if they put it to rest, then they put it to rest. But
Yeah,
I
that
do
makes sense.
recall hearing that and thinking that was very strange.
Yeah. Quick question, anyone here? Is anyone recording this?
No.
No, but it would have been a good idea.
No, I was
But I'm
gonna
sure.
ask if you're recording this. Can I have like Paco give it to someone in Pleaser Now?
Yeah, I am recording it, and
Okay, cool.
I'll be glad to post it or deliver it to Dropbox or something like that.
Wait,
If
you're
anybody.
actually recording the conversation?
Yes, and I
Oh,
recorded the
great.
spaces earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. If you're
because
recording this, I definitely like if you could give it to Paco to pass along.
Okay.
At the very minimum, just to like show like, hey, not everyone in the
Mhm.
community is like looking to like carry you a new one. Just like
Right.
you have issues.
No, this is a
And
totally reasonable conversation, and I really appreciate that you've been able to so clearly articulate the position of
Yeah,
the holders.
yeah.
And
I'm sure even if Molly didn't record this, you still could have explained it again very
oh yeah,
clearly
I'm sure
as
I can
you.
explain it again. If they want to have a call with me, I'm always down. I mean, shit. Without being a
I
holder,
mean,
I better be down.
it would be fun. It would be fun to have a debate, like a public debate. Um,
well,
but
just
we'll
an
see.
open discussion. I mean, that was one of, like you even said this. It was one of the troubling things for me was the fact that it was just a broadcast of the essentially the marketing team talking amongst themselves, and there was no there was no engagement with any of
The community.
the
Yeah.
community. So that in itself speaks volumes.
Yeah, but so
Unfortunately.
here's my perspective, because I asked, Homura, why do you think like all this happened when maybe it could have been done better, and it still could be done better, and I agree with him that uh, we can't really know for sure, and we're sort of in this situation where we can't, you know, uh, blame them because we don't have all the information, but at the same time we can't, just saying nothing, like that there is no problem, that they just forgot or they were lazy or something, right? But so I think that, as I said, they're like, this is my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but I think they're dismissing a lot of what some people are bringing up in chat as just, moon boy talk. And they're not, I don't think they're valuing how important it is to, give even a bit of updates. Because before talking, to you, I also didn't see really, the point of just, I guess, updating on what's going on like every second. But I guess it makes sense. And also, I want to say, I think the Pleaser DAO has like taken this idea of community, that they want community to heart, and they've taken it literally so much that I think it's kind of playing against them. Do you know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. Right.
So,
So
yeah, so I
the
wouldn't say.
idea.
Mhm.
Let me just compound on this for a second, right? The
Yeah.
idea of having the community, be entirely involved in what you're doing and what you're creating. The idea is peachy, right? We all want to strive for
Yeah.
that. It's decentralized finance in a nutshell. Now, the reality is that you can't start off that way. There has to be a structure in place to build into, decentralizing everything, right? So one of the biggest examples of this is a failed experiment of like a flat structure is actually Valve software. So if you don't know what Valve software is, they make a platform called Steam, which sells video games. Okay. And for the longest time, for basically since the company's inception, they were a flat structure where anyone could do anything they wanted to do, right? If you wanted to work on a video game, great. You want to work on the back end, amazing. You want to work on UI, go for it, right? Now, what ended up happening is that a bunch of people would get together, they'd powwow for a little bit, building something out, and then a few people would lose interest. They'd go to something else new, and then the remaining people wouldn't be able to finish it. So it just died on the cutting room floor. Now, what that led to was that they stopped releasing video games, right? The Half-Life series, Half-Life 2 ended on a cliffhanger. Hadn't had anything since until a few years ago, where they changed their internal structure to not be a flat structure anymore, but to have a hierarchy. So they were actually able to make teams that could finish things, and then they could actually ship something. That led to them shipping Half-Life Alyx, one of the biggest video games released, I think, in the last 5 years or something, right? And that was for VR of all things, right? And it's a perfect example of how you can't start at a flat structure. You need to work up to it. Until there are sufficient community voices that are loud enough to rally people to their cause, you can't have it until that point happens, right? So, like, for example, let's use the people that have been in the chat, right? So let's say Cold Plunge, right? He's a verified dog holder, and he's had, from what I've seen, very structured, like, voicing of his displeasure in the chat towards anyone, right? Now, if we were at a point where if Cold Plunge was like, hey guys, I want to build an NFT derivative, who wants to help me, right? And then from there, 4 or 5 people were like, yeah, let's do this. I can help. I can do art. I can do Solidity. I can do whatever, right? And then they went and started working on that. That'd be perfect. That's the epitome of a flat structure, right? However, he can't do that right now. If he went and said, I want to build an NFT project, you'd probably get like 10 people going, oh, that's amazing. Blah, blah, blah. How can I help, right? But then it wouldn't materialize because the people who want to help are likely not the builders that he actually needs. So it just falls on the cutting room floor and nothing happens. And then we're still at the same place we were, where there's nothing built, and it's pretty much just time wasted from the people who tried. So to start from a flat structure, it's not going to be good. So if they want to like build into that, amazing, great goal, but we just can't start there. And I'm sorry for going on that rant, but It just
No, man, you portrayed it really well. Like, I think I really believe that's what Pleasure DAO is imagining. Like, Cole just saying, "Oh, I want to make NFT derivative," and then a bunch of people help him do that. But as you said, it may not be very realistic at this stage because he probably won't find anyone to help him. I do see that now. Um, yeah, and I also want to say that I really don't believe that Pleasure DAO is like um, that they're bad people.
oh
They've
no,
just
no.
they've
Yeah.
just adopted this idea of community. Like they really believe it with all of their heart that this is the way that the Doge meme NFT should grow through community, and they've like ingrained that in their minds. And any other sign of not community is immediately like put in a moon boy box. I think that's what's happening right now, and that and the insane amount of miscommunication. That's probably because chatting and texting isn't a very effective way of talking to somebody because there are a lot of unknowns. And yeah, I'm really glad that we had this talk. Um, I'll definitely, we should definitely like express our concerns in a reasonable manner, just as you did today, right now. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, yeah,
do you have
I'm
any?
always open for a conversation. Um, I just think that there's a lot of stuff going around right now that isn't being said from a right state of mind. Um, and that goes for both sides, but I
Mhm.
definitely think that if the work is put in, right? Because like you said, I know a few of the people on the team, right? Like Alex, I've talked to him on multiple occasions. Amazing, smart dude, right? He's not trying to scam anybody out of their money or run like a big big scam on anyone. He's just in the Sparkle DAO, this Pleaser DAO, right? He's just trying to help where he can. Um, so I don't think there's anything malicious happening, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely not,
just
because we also have a, that's the other thing that, interests me is we have a mod channel, right? And in this mod channel, they've shared a lot of things. For example, I don't want to spoil it, but I guess I'll do. The Doge party that's happening and all the things that they're gonna bring there. Um, like we have like a ice Doge statue and stuff, and like a concert, and also some plans for NFT tiers where we'll get NFT profile pictures, and they'll be different depending on how many Dog coins, Dog tokens you hold, and you can stake these dog tokens to get this NFT, so it incentivizes holding and a lot of stuff that I don't think they've even teased to you, and I think they're probably working to even more stuff that they've not teased in this mod channel too. So yes, I definitely do not think that there's anything malicious going on. I think there's just a lot of miscommunication, and this idea um, that's floating around about community and this flat structure um, that we talked about, that apparently isn't like enough, and there needs to be more.
yes, there needs to be more. Um, I've just checked the price for the first time since this conversation
Oh,
started.
it's tanking.
It's oh my god, it's in free fall.
Yeah, we're rugged for sure.
Oh my god, that doesn't feel good at all.
Nope.
Oof.
But I just was saying to someone here that perhaps this is a necessary shakeout that can purify this community down to its
I mean,
most,
yeah.
most
I think Juan is
idealistic.
here.
The
Juan,
most
you're muted
the
if you're talking.
what's that?
I think Juan is here, like Japes.
Oh yeah, he just joined. He's muted, but I think he knows that. It's an icon next to his name.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just saying that like this might be the necessary poison that flushes out the toxicity that has existed in this chat for the last week or two or week, and like maybe perhaps the project can come out on the better side of things after something like this, where it's more true to the actual genuine philosophical ethos of the ideal, as we were talking about earlier.
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe, but that kind of turns into bag holders trying to save their bags. To be honest,
Could be.
is the most likely outcome.
Yeah. But it's entertaining.
It's entertaining, that's for sure.
This is definitely the most entertaining outcome, I think.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Just wish it hadn't come to this.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I do think that the conversation, though, thus far has been quite reasonable and measured, and I appreciate you both for that. And I would say that, like I said, I
yeah,
think this could
my
be the
hope is
seeds of reasonable conversation from here forward. Once all
yeah,
the people who
I
are
agree.
the opportunists and the moon boys and that are maybe shook out.
Well,
Yeah.
at
So
worst, you have a recording of this, so I know Japes just joined, but you can listen in on the conversation we had.
Yeah, it's
at the
been
very
very
minimum.
good. I think constructive conversation. I'll be glad to give
yeah,
anybody a
I
recording
feel
of
like
it.
Japes, they brought up some concerns, some real concerns that maybe we've dismissed just as moon boy talk, but I feel like they're grounded in reality. And thankfully Molly recorded the conversation, so maybe if you want, I can send it to you so you could listen, especially to what Homura said. Um, yeah.
Maybe his mic's broken.
You can just roll up in my DMs and if you want to, and then I'll get it. I'll get you a copy.
Can you do that, Paco?
Yeah, sure.
Just DM Molly. Be like, hey, hit me up with that recording. I need it from a mixtape. Spitting hot bars on how community engagement and how top down communities are built.
It's gonna be a banger.
It's gonna be a banger. maybe incorporate it into the what's that artist's name they had in the spaces? Ask
Bass
something.
Jacker. Bass
Yeah,
Jacker.
yeah, Bass Jacker. Incorporate it into a song. How to make a decentralized community.
Yeah, also feel like it could be fun if we had like a discussion or debate instead of just showing it in private and then.
I wouldn't set it up as a debate because that immediately makes an antagonistic.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but
Again,
just let people ask questions and have a real conversation.
but like I said, in the
Yeah,
very
I meant
beginning,
debate
Paco,
in a meme way.
yeah, it's all about framing, right? So a debate frames it as us versus them, right? Whereas a community engagement call frames it as we want to work with you, we want to help you, right? Rather than be against them.
Yeah.
So, just
Sure.
keep that in mind. It's always try and create collaborating. Yeah.
I meant it in a meme way. Okay, like a fun discussion, So
people, no, on the internet, like, unless it is very, very clear that you made it a meme, and it is a meme, people are gonna take you like dead serious.
yeah,
Yeah,
I get.
and the emotions are very charged right now, so it's probably best
Oh yeah,
not to meme too
people have seen their investment be cut in half right now, so definitely not the best time to be joking around, even though I'm laughing.
No, it is, guys. I have to whisper a little bit because there's everybody in the place that I'm in right now is asleep. But
You're good, man.
I have to say, I think that was a very valiant effort of Maximum FUD just now, and I'm happy to have contributed to it. But I'm fairly confident, even though like the spaces was extremely underwhelming and all that. Now that we have like we just had our maximum absolute peak FUD moment at a time where the market's not super liquid because a lot of people are sleeping. So I think that the bottom is probably in. But
All right, guys, you heard
yeah,
it.
that was
You heard
good
it here
stuff. It's the
first.
most lit I've
All
seen
right,
today.
you've heard it here first. Cold Plunge is calling the bottom. If you buy now, he'll reimburse any losses you take from here on. There you go.
It was all a throw. Yeah. So
Whew. Oh man, I don't even want to look at the price chart. Someone closed my browser for me.
Somebody bought. There was a little buy down there.
Ooh.
I keep trying to go to sleep and then reopening the Discord.
That's the best thing to do.
But hey,
I feel
well,
like
this
was
is good though. I have to say, like, it's the most lit I've seen it in here. Is today. So maybe we needed like this really horrendous,
yeah.
cacophony.
No, I definitely
And
feel
now we got
what
Bonding
happened here
moment.
was really
hashtag
constrained.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone from the Placer Dow team was saying at least the community's coming together.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like there's always gonna be pain points like this. Like there has been in literally every community I've been in, from like immaculate launches to absolute shit shows. Right? You always have this kind of point where it's like the FUD is at its maximum level. Everyone is unhappy. They all want something now. It really depends how you handle it from here on out.
Maybe the
like
real moon was the friends we made along the way.
yeah, maybe yeah. The real moon was the friends we made along the way. Like this isn't the end point, right? This isn't gonna kill it. This isn't gonna be the death knell. However, it's serious. Like we do need some more interaction from people.
It's totally serious, and I think that a lot of people have been summing up a lot of the points really well so far. So since everybody's actually being quiet and letting me speak for a second, I'm gonna jump on it. I totally feel everybody's pain on this one. I recognize and I see how people are seeing this as Pleaser came in, they pumped this really hard. They were all over Twitter, buy this auction, we're going to the moon, this is going to be great. And then I can see how people think that they went silent. But I personally am choosing to believe that there's enough going on in the background that for legal reasons they just simply can't tell us about. And I'm choosing to put my faith in them. I guess maybe I'm biased. I do know one of the members from Pleaser personally. I've known him for decades. He's a great guy. So I feel like he's not like I feel like they're I don't know. I'm trying to have faith.
Dude, I hear what you're saying, man, and I totally agree that like yeah, there is stuff going on in the background, and they mentioned some of it like with the dog tags and this and that, but the real message and like what people were saying in the chat that we got today was, hey, if you want something, build it, which is fine. I mean, and that is the whole point of a DAO, right? It's it's a decentralized organization, but in society in general, there's a reason why hierarchies exist, and there's a reason that there's a leader and a delegator, because that's the way that efficient organizations work. And so I think in having Pleaser DAO owning 55% of the token, and well, frankly, more than that right now, 75%, then you know, we need somebody to spearhead the mission and, you know, say, hey, this is our culture, this is what we're doing, and lead by example. And you know,
Totally. And
maybe come up with 2, 3, 4, 5,
I
6
want to
I feel,
cool ideas
interrupt
from the start.
both of you here. So I wish everyone had been in here from the start, as I've
yeah,
actually
I
touched
was
on these
just gonna
topics.
say that we talked about a
Where
lot of these things, and I
yeah,
wish that Molly could just replay the conversation, because there are a lot of people now, and we were just like 3 people at the start, and
yeah.
we it feels like if we talk about it right now, it's like we're repeating ourselves, even though
Exactly.
we're talking to new people who
yeah,
haven't
and I
been.
think
Yeah,
that
so
problem's going to keep repeating itself, right? I mean, there's going to be more and more
mm,
people joining in on this as this. You guys are going to need Paco. You're going to need yak back by the time this is done, just so you can repeat the same sentences over and over and over again. But you know, I see both sides. I really do.
mhm. Yeah.
Hey,
So
Molly, can we
Molly,
get
is
the
there a
recording
way
right now,
to
and we can maybe post it?
Yeah,
Can you
I
cut
can
the
work on
recording
it.
short?
Yeah, I can work on it.
Homura, you gotta stop taking my words out of my mouth, man. It's not fun.
Hey man, I'm a
All right,
telepath.
well,
What can I say?
have fun, guys. I gotta hop off now.
All right,
I'm
later,
actually
Cold.
going to sleep. Good night.